Maybe I can add a little bit from a Continental perspective. Actually, we are not so much seen in the first line as being a service company. Okay, as long as you don't break your car, which is maybe 2 or 3 years old. Actually, good for us. You're blaming it on the garage, on the Toyota dealer, or whomever. Okay, but if you physically break your car, and maybe worst case 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, that's where the whole thing really went off. Actually you need to reconfigure exactly, and what one component is really broken. You need to figure out what was the configuration at the time. You have to rebuild it, and so on. So there's big service needs you have in that. Actually, you blame it on your car dealer, since it took 5 days until they could the real damn thing fixed. Actually, it took probably us to reconfigure what this specific car really needed, and that goes back to the software complexity. The hardware isn't really the issue. The PCB is not really the issue. The issue is have the right software on it, that it really interoperates with all the other systems in a car.
So I have a question for you. My wife, I'll leave names out of it, but my wife drives a German automobile, and it's kind of new. And when you start the car, the radio turns on, kind of loud, and you turn it off. And then 30 seconds later, approximately, it turns itself back on again, and you turn it off. And 30 seconds later, it turns itself back on again, and you turn it off, and then it stays off until such time as you power the car down again. And so we took this German automobile. I'm sure it wasn't one of your radios. But we took it to the dealer, and I said, I'm betting that's a software problem. And he said, well, do you have some time? Because it'll take us a couple hours to figure out whether there's a new software build. And I said, you're kidding me. If it was a spark plug, you'd just put a new one in. But I thought this would be an instant thing. You just go to the keyboard, tick, tick, tick. Oh, there's a new build. Let me plug this little cord into your car somewhere into the RJ11 jack, and we'll have that thing updated in no time. But that actually isn't how it worked. I was a bit surprised.
Actually, my first response would be, that's not a bug, it's a feature.
Mine too.
And
we trained him well.
Okay, and actually maybe a little bit more serious. I think we have experienced such problems. And actually, if you drive a German car in Germany, there's something called TMC, Traffic Message Channel. Okay, whenever there's a traffic jam, and we guys kind of like to go fast, but we hardly can, since there's always traffic jams. So you're really relying on it. And whenever new traffic jams come up on the traffic message channel, the radio just turns up and tells you. That's sometimes those things happen, and people tell, my radio starts to become louder, since you have a different kind of volume level for that than you have for others. But exactly what you say, the real point is to figure out what is the root cause. In a car, you said, what did you say, 100 million lines of code? I can only tell you, like 20 years ago, it was a revolution to implement the CAN bus into car.
Yeah.
Okay, modern cars have something like 20 to 25 different bus systems in the car. Just look in your PC how many you have in there.
Yeah.
It's not that many, and that's really. This goes back to the service. Really find the root cause of that. It's pretty hard. Maybe I add on a little bit on the question. There's more services where Conti is going for right now, and you could see, like, I'm trying to take the example of you. I'm calling, and I'm Andre, and I'm just stupid to use that Winchell thing, okay? And you have always to tell him that story. There are applications where you can do online diagnostics already on the car. Mm-hmm. So you could even see some parameters in your car go wrong.
Yep.
And you can work on it. In the motorsports, I don't know if you hear that tomorrow, that's kind of technology that's there. It's coming more and more also in the overall cars. That's also the next thing you could think of, and which is also reality. If you are really coming to an accident, you can automatically, your airbag goes off, it can make your phone go off and call somebody that you might need some help. So those kind of applications are around there as well.
I have a story about that too, but I'll skip it.
Okay. And you know, there are some concepts out. Many OEMs don't really like it, but you know, if you have this nice German car with 500 horsepower, AMG probably or something, you know, actually, if you go Boston downtown, you only use 10% of it. If you go on the highway and maybe you want to use it, or you go cruising or whatever, you know, applications those days could support that you just upgrade your car as needed and pay for it. Okay, so if you take a car engine, actually the difference between a 300 and a 400 horsepower is mainly software.
Yep.
It's actually only software. Maybe I shouldn't admit
no,
that.
I know.